What's up, guys? This is Atari Age RCT bringing you another video for you guys, and today I wanted to talk about something I don't know, I sometimes working with projects like the HyperPie and Hyperspin and all of these emulation front ends, you come across platforms that usually either are forgotten or some that were just not quite popular enough for it to grab like the mainstream audience and even some of the hardcore gamer audience as well. These are sometimes platforms that are failed, sometimes they succeed, but in a very limited niche segment of the gaming population. And it makes me, working with these projects, it makes me appreciate some platforms that I never even looked twice before when they actually came out. Now it's a very different dynamic from a person who has basically lived through as these platforms rise and fall, as for, let's say, the newer generation, which basically start collecting and start getting into this kind of stuff with, of course, the immediate thing of having the internet, the information at hand, than basically living through it as it happens. Now, when it comes to the first or the former, my experience with the platform that I'm bringing up today, which, by the way, I'm sorry I didn't bring it up. What I'm talking about today is actually the Hyper Neo Geo 64. Now, this platform came about kind of like sandwiched in between let's say the end of the Neo Geo platform, which is already famous. I don't need to even talk about how popular that became, even though it did not reach from a setting standpoint, sales standpoint, didn't reach the mass appeal of something like the PlayStation or Nintendo 64 or something along those lines. But of course, Neo Geo did cement to this day a staunch rabid following. Shout out to Anthony and Atari Age forums and the Neo Geo forums over there. Basically, this platform came right after the success of that platform, and it was a way for SNK to try and move forward, or try to go into this whole realm of 3D gaming that was all the rage at the time where they released this. Now, unfortunately, it did not make it. It did not really the impact. They came about this very late. Already competition from Namco and Sega were already going full force in the arcades, which is where this, of course, debuted. They had the intention, SNK, of bringing this or turning this into another platform, just like they did with the Neo Geo. They were trying to repeat the same success, I guess, and it was something that if it did at the time succeed, they would have brought this as a console. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and this stayed, as you can see over here, as the arcade form. The game being in this arcade platform, that square shaped thing that you see there that looks like a metal plate, like a bulletproof plate, that is the actual game on the board. So this to me is very appealing. This to me is very interesting because it's still tech. It's still something that a lot of people came together to bring forward. Now, at the time, I will confess, it did occur to me, I did come into contact with this platform in the arcades because back at the time when this came out, I was still somebody who would be in the arcades at the time. And of course, the first time that I ever saw this in action was with the Samurai Shodown franchise, which you guys know that I completely love. But my first reaction, and I guess it was the first reaction to everybody who witnessed and got a chance to play this, was like, what the hell did they do? What were they thinking about when they did this? It felt, to me, my first impression was a very incomplete thing. you're coming from beautiful 2D graphics, and I don't need to talk about it. You just watch any Samurai Showdown game, the Neo Geo, the original Neo Geo, and you can tell, it's beautiful hand-drawn 2D art. And of course the move to 3D, all you see here, or all I saw there at the time, were these 3D blocky, kind of clunky looking characters. And of course that was my first impression, and that's basically the impression that I left it, because as soon as I saw that and I played it and it didn't feel or look like the games that I loved, I kind of like, just let it go by. And a lot of people let it go by, and unfortunately that's what brought it down in the end. It didn't catch up, it didn't catch fire at the time that it needed to survive, unfortunately. Now, of course, this brings up a very interesting proposition. How do we even play these games? Because this being a dead platform, the game's not being picked up by any third parties to bring it forward to, show the public this part of the history, which, by the way, SNK kind of like indirectly buried, because there's not a lot of mention of this platform anywhere. Only, of course, the collectors and people who come across the arcade original can talk about, because they have, they have the tools and resources necessary to do so. Now, how can you play these games? I mean, this had very limited games. It had around, maybe, don't quote me on this, but maybe around 7 games, if 7 or 8 games. I'm gonna show you the only way to this day, 2019, that you can play these or try these games out, albeit of course very glitchy. It's still far away from being complete and perfect to play. It's actually on MAME. Only 2 games were ever ported to another console, a mainstream console, and that was the PlayStation 1 back in the day, which got Samurai Showdown Warriors Rage, which I'm sorry to say, it is a pale imitation to the original. Even with the glitchy form, playing it in MAME, it's still the PS1 version of this game is far from it. And of course, the other one that kind of came a little bit closer but still did not compare to the quality of this platform was Fatal Fury. I think is something Ambition. We're gonna go into that right now when we go into the gameplay. I just wanted to talk about it quickly here, mention where is this coming from and why the need to make a video out of it. I find it very interesting. If you guys have any more information that you can share, please do it in the comment section below. Let's go into this so we can check it out. Alright, so I had to do a couple of tweakings here before I even begin showing you guys a hyper Neo Geo 64 games, which are not many, but I had to do some adjustments to the volume so I wouldn't actually kill you guys with the horrid sound and volume of the games. Now, of course, I did a module. It wasn't there on the HyperPie because nobody's really interested in doing this platform, so I took it upon myself to add it on my own, and you can find it in my setup outside of the arcade setup. See, it's right here. And the problem is that I haven't set it up in a way. I mean, it has media because it has the videos, as you see here, and it has kind of sort of the icons, the wheel art for it. So in this sense, it's pretty complete, and it actually boots and goes into the MAME. The problem is it's not taking it straight to the game, but to the MAME menu itself, which is not really a bad thing because everything taken into consideration, they're not working nearly, I mean, not even close to a proper working game at this point in MAME. That being said, I'm still gonna show you guys because it's worth covering. I mean, it's a dead platform that a lot of people didn't give it a chance when it was alive, and of course nobody's even bothering with it now, except probably collectors and the sort. But this right here are the list of games working currently. This is of course my MAME, as you can see in the top part, is MAME 185, which is an older version. This is already MAME is like around 2 something at this point, but this one has it working at least partially, so it's something, and it'll give me at least a chance to show you guys how the game looks in case some of you guys haven't seen them yet. I know many people, or some people, got a chance to see some of the games like Samurai Showdown and the sequel Samurai Showdown Warrior's Rage, which they got sort of a port on the PlayStation 1, not even close to how good at least it looks here. They did get a proper port of Fatal Fury Wild Ambition, but again, not even close when it comes to the quality of the graphics. The graphics on here looks much, much better than the port that the PlayStation got. That being said, I had to tweak the volume on this on the recording side of things, so you guys won't get your ears hurt, because the sound, the glitchy sound, is loud and obnoxious. So that being said, and since you guys won't have to endure that, let's go into the first one, which is Beast Busters. Now this one is very, very interesting, because this one is a kind of like a oh my god, how do you call this? What's the name of that? Oh my god, I completely forgot. The Sega shooters, the gun shooters, House of the Dead. It's kind of like a House of the Dead clone. And this is very interesting to me because House of the Dead, of course, is the popular franchise. But this, however, was SNK going into this market, and I love it. I completely adore it. This is fucking amazing. So I'm going to throw some credits in here. I already configured it to use with the mouse, being a gun game. It's actually a shotgun with pump action and everything. So yeah, that's some pretty cool stuff going on there. So let's begin. Look at that. Beautiful blood and gore. It's still glitchy as fuck, but it's one of the more playable games out of the lot, so beggars can't be choosers, and this game is freaking insane. Now here's the thing, guys, this game died with the platform. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this ever got ported to any other consoles, not my knowledge. But can you imagine what SNK would have done with this had this taken off? Right now, this one looks, even in its glitchy state, even with the sound basically numbing my senses, this game is pretty amazing. And if it would have gotten popular, I can't imagine where they would have taken this. Oh, pumping action, I forgot. Oh, I'm gonna get killed. Oh, stop it, stop it. Come on. Grenades, awesome. Power. Let's continue in our journey of Hyper Neo Geo games. Graphical glitches, of course. MAME has never shied away from the fact that it's still not there yet, but guys, I mean, take a look at this. This was way back in a time where Neo Geo was criticized for having mostly everything in the catalog was mostly fighters, and this was them branching out. And I have to say, given that this wasn't their thing, so to speak, they did a pretty awesome job. I just hope this gets to be fixed so we can actually play it in a more decent form, because there's a lot of potential here. I mean, damn, I wish this was part of a collector's edition or something. Okay, you get to survive with credits. Come on, almost there. Right, we did it. Holy crap, a lot of crickets. Too many crickets. What? What the fuck? Holy crap, that's a lot of bugs. Whoa. Take it easy there, guys. Grenades. Oh, dude, that was cheap. I don't mind too much. Got enough credits. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave it here, but you get to see what I'm talking about. This is a game that is really unexpected, coming from the pedigree of basically, you know, mostly shoot 'em ups, and which I'm not complaining, shoot 'em ups and fighters in Neo Geo platform, and then transitioning into other genres in this platform. It's a shame. I wish I could see more of this franchise either be I don't know, resuscitated on some other platform as a part of collectors, or maybe a remake of some sort, because I mean, gun games are linear in nature, but this one seems to be really fun. They seem to have a pretty good grasp of the whole, you know, House of the Dead style thing. But that being said, let's go into Buriki. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Hyper Neo Geo 64 with the English BIOS. Now this one has potential. The problem is that this one seems to aim at the virtual fighter type deal. The characters seem to be a little bit more detailed than the first few virtual fighters. There's an issue with the controller though, because I can try, I mean, I have the input here. Yeah, up, down, left, right. The button is only 4 buttons, and that's it. There's nothing to it. But for some reason, the control is not working, or I don't understand the machine as well as I think. Let's choose this dude. It's a typical kind of like Ken Masters from Street Fighter type of deal. You have different styles of fighting. The sound is super glitchy right now. It's driving me insane. Hopefully you guys are not getting that. The graphics are glitchy, but you can see the art style, and it looks pretty good. Now I can pull back. Buttons don't do anything. I don't know if you need to combine the button presses with, yeah. Yeah, I'm out of the ring. See, I move forward the controller and it's sending him back. So I don't know really. This is not, it's not working like it's supposed to. But at least you guys see visually how it looks like. Sorry I can't show you more, but there's no point to it because I have no control over it. Now, okay, I did first a good one, then I went into a bad one. Let's do a good one, sorta, kinda. And this is the one that got a port on the PlayStation 1. Now bear in mind, MAME has always been, you know, upfront about it. It's not working. The screen that I just passed says game not working, but I went into it anyway, so now I say I might be wrong on this, but you guys verify. You guys compare this, how it looks here, and how it looks on the PlayStation 1 version. Even though it seems like I'm kind of like ripping a new one on that version, I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see it being even close to this one. This one looks a lot better. Not technically superior like from one gen to another, but it's just a better looking game here than it looks over there. I think it got stuck. I might have to restart this one. Actually, it threw me out of MAME. Let's try that again. Here we go. Now, graphical glitches aside, and it's already been established, it's not going to look or sound even close to how it should. But so far, what's there at least seems to work. I mean, this one is, at least is a little bit more responsive than the Samsho one that I'm going to show you later on. At least moves are not as hard to pull off as in that other game. It's just that I picked a character that I'm really not good at. Never been good at in the Fatal Fury King of Fighters series anyways. Always preferred the more Street Fighter centric ones. But it's a working game. And a natural, now that I look at it, it's a natural evolution from where they were in 2D. It's just that other companies, they kind of did it better. And that's the reason why it didn't succeed. And given that the only platform they had was in the arcades where people got a chance to see it and play it, people just didn't take to it. They had much better options in the arcade at the time. Now, two other games that are here, Road's Edge and Extreme Rally, are very painful to watch because these are driving games. Another genre that SNK was not very famous for. But here they're trying their hand. Again, these are genres that are very famous at the time in the arcades. So if these games would have taken off, we would have seen probably, I don't know, SNK succeed in areas to compete head-to-head in a more prominent way against Sega and Namco. Who knows? This one seems to be more focused on kind of like the SUV racing, as you can see here, but it's far from being playable. It doesn't even allow, the controls don't work, the sound don't work, and you can barely see the graphics at this point. So very unplayable, but at least you get to see what they were shooting for here. Next one in the racing, painful, we don't get to play it yet category is Extreme Rally. This one looks a tad bit better, but you still don't have control, and it's still a glitch fest. Again, you cannot judge these games based on what I'm presenting here, because I am running it through MAME, and maybe giving it some more time, we're gonna get to see the game shine. I'm really hoping, because I would kill to play a rally game, and especially coming from SNK, that would be amazing. And this seems to target, to me, Sega Rally. It's like they wanted a piece of that pie, and it seems to be doing a good job. Look at this. I just wish that it was playable. That's all I can say. There's a lot of potential here. So next, now last but not least, is the SAM shows. I'm not gonna get anything special here. This is basically the game that I saw at the time back then in the arcades, and I was left unimpressed, you know, and I wasn't really intrigued about the platform until way after the platform actually died and I knew about the whole thing. I'm just gonna deck them in black because I'm not gonna be able to play anyways. You can see strobing effect on the graphics. The sound effects are murderous on your ears. You can play a little bit, as you can see here. I'm actually putting off moves, but it's nowhere near the point of being enjoyable whatsoever. But again, you see the natural progression from 2D into 3D. I'm just guessing that at the time they weren't, you know, they weren't educated in the ways of 3D yet to the point that they needed to get, and maybe their hardware didn't allow them to get to the point that they wanted to. There's a lot of factors. I mean, not everyone had at the time back then the deep pockets of Sega and Namco, given their success in the arcade scene at the time. So yeah, maybe it was simply a lack of resources. Whatever the reason may be, the thing is, there was a group of talented people trying to make it, and for that reason alone, it merits to, you know, to give at least a second look, and hopefully in the near future we'll get a chance to actually play these games the way they were meant to. Now this one is the one that has me kind of like, dear Lord, somebody do a port of this, because even though they took the name, let's say they borrowed the name, you know, Samurai Showdown Warriors Rage, and they made a port for the PlayStation 1. Again, I've tried that many times, and number one, it doesn't look like this. It doesn't feature the same characters. It's, in my opinion, a watered-down version. Maybe it's not done from the same team. I don't know. I don't have that information for you. All I can say is that this one looks really interesting. and I would love to play this in a playable form, but the controls seem to be there. I'm pulling off fireball movements and they're coming out with ease. It doesn't feel clunky like the first one. The first one, the control felt haphazard and kind of like random in nature. This one, you feel they were tweaking more the controls this time around. So yeah, I want to see this character Azra either as a download content character for maybe this year's Samurai Spirits on the major platforms. Would be kind of nice, because aesthetically speaking, I don't know the background of the character. Aesthetically speaking, at least this costume looks pretty badass, decked in black with metal and stuff. It looks pretty cool. And the fact that his hair changes looks kind of like the Super Saiyan thing going on there. So I don't know about that. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna leave it here because my ears at this point, even though you guys are not getting it because I lowered the volume, is making my ears bleed. How loud and crazy and insane this is getting. But yeah, guys, that's basically what we have available for the Neo Geo Hyper 64. It's really a shame. It would be nice if somebody took the care and attention to actually porting these, because it's something that we didn't get a chance to enjoy. Well, we did get a chance, we didn't appreciate it back then, and now, I don't know, I wish I had and got the chance to try it out. It's worth the second look. Hopefully it'll get better so we can get there and try it out. Thanks for watching and hearing me blabber and go on a tangent with this little experiment with this platform, but it's kind of nice. If you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.